You can sit up here with me. Good boy. Our body has continuous streams of energy. It's the energy that we work with every day, all day. It's what helps us get from the morning to the evening. But there is so much more about our energy than that. And that's what I want to talk about today. And that our energy really indicates to us what is happening, not only within our body, not only within our mind, but it reflects everything that is coming back at us in our physical reality. And this is what I go through in my new book, What Your Body is Telling You About Your Business. So the energy that we have in our body, yes, it's in our meridian lines, it's in our chakras, our chi runs through us everywhere. So what does that even mean? We have all these meridian lines that run through our body. They're all connected to our organs, they're all connected to our nervous systems. They connect everything together. They're the life force behind us. They're our connection to source, our connection to the universe, and our connection to the here and now. It helps our physical body and our soul connect together to have this human experience. And I believe there's 3 ways that our body talks to us. Or our soul talks to us. It's through our intuition, through our emotions, and then through our physical body, our physicality. And that's because when we miss our intuitive messages, when we are so busy in the day-to-day happenings, that we can tend to miss all this. We can tend to have our mind full of thoughts that we miss the subtleness of our intuitive guidance. So when we miss this subtleness, we feel it then through our emotions. And our emotions are the dissonance that is occurring in the moment between who we really are and what is happening now. So if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling jealous, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling upset, that is telling you that you're not in alignment with your soul. You're not in alignment with who you really are. Because these feelings of negativity, these feelings of dis-ease and this discomfort within our mind, emotionally, it's not who we really are. When everything is a hell yes, when everything is a vibe, when everything is it doesn't have to be high energy, but it feels like flow, it feels like alignment. That's naturally who we are. So when we have these feelings of discomfort, that is your guidance. Hey babe, it's time to come back on track. It's time to reach for the thought and the feeling that is more in alignment with naturally who you are. And it's your guidance, your inner GPS, that is helping you say, look, you're off course right now. It's time to pause and come back to you. But sometimes we miss this, and sometimes we haven't even been taught to listen to it. So then the energy of it accumulates and becomes even denser, and then it holds in our physical body. Because when that energy is denser, we can feel it as pain, we can feel it as physical discomfort. So this is your back pain, this is your bloating, this is your sore calves, this is your headaches, this is the imbalance in your menstrual cycle, this is all the physical stuff that happens to us, which is the imbalance in chi, imbalance in our energy, the stagnant in our energy. So let's reverse everything and go, okay, if this is the way I'm thinking, if this is the way I'm feeling, if this is what's happening within my body, what does it mean I need to do? What are those intuitive messages that I have missed along the way? Is we can actually go back to that. And this is where I really like to look at things like Chinese medicine, because it gives us a really clear roadmap on what is happening. But then we also relate it back to business, and this is the research that I've been doing for the past 5, 6, 7 years in working with entrepreneurs like yourself and going, okay, if this is happening in my body, what are the messages that it's given me in life that I need to implement things differently or look at things differently within my business to help it grow, to help it evolve? And there are two main facets of that. We look at business itself. We look at the fundamentals of business. We look at, the attracting our ideal customer, the products and services that we want to get out to the world. We look at the pricing of all that. So it's the execution of the business. And then we go into the other area, which is finances, because finances and the way we look at money, the way we look at wealth, has got a very big impact onto what happens in our business, how we allow it to grow, how we allow it to flow. Because if we have a problem with wealth, if we have a problem with the way we look at money, if we have a problem with the way that we look at people with money, then we're always going to sabotage our growth to what it possibly could be. So this is where we bring everything back and going, okay, how am I looking at things? What is my body telling me is the priority to look at? So there's those two main areas of business, which is the fundamental actions of the workings behind your business, and the finance area. It comes into play with 4 major organs of our body: the stomach and the spleen, which is our money area, and our large intestine and our lungs is the business area. So if you're having trouble with connecting to your ideal client, getting more clients, if you're having trouble with pricing, if you're having trouble with marketing, if you're having trouble communicating, this is the large intestine and the spleen. The large intestine, I'm getting my words mixed up now. It's the large intestine and it's the lung area that needs to have a look at. So what does that look like? What does that even mean? Let's go in here and have a look, because each section of this book is really mapped out for you. So it's got a whole body map on the muscles that actually could be the ones that are throwing things off for you. And when we look at the large intestine and we look at the lungs, I will come up to here, and these are the red muscles, the ones that are highlighted in red here. So what are they? They're things like our lumbar, our lower back, which is interesting because the lower back, as we know, sometimes when we look at the physicality, that our lower back can be tight because of the glutes. When the glutes are really tight, pulls on that lower back area. So it's really important to have a look at what is the actual problem, where is the actual stagnant energy here. So we look at the lower back, we look at the hamstrings, we look at the fascia lata, which is the outside of the leg. We also look at the diaphragm, so just underneath that breastplate there. We look at the anterior serratus, so that muscle that goes down the side of our body here. And also we look at this muscle here, which comes down from the collarbone down into the bicep. So not the bicep itself, but it's an internal one that comes down. And there's one more, which is the deltoid. So that nice muscle at the top here. So they're the main muscles that cause us problem when there's stagnant energy here. Now the main 3 that I see in clinic, which we're going to go into today, is the lumbar, the lower back, the hamstring, and the fascia lata. They're the main 3 ones here. And they're the main 3 ones that are actually connected to our large intestine. So when we look here about what is happening, we look at attracting our ideal client. And the income goals that we set for our business. The amount of people that step into my office that actually do not have an income goal, and the reason that they don't have an income goal is because they're too afraid to have one. They think it's not reachable. So they just go week by week, month by month, seeing what they can do. Now, we know that as we progress through business, income goals are really important because they become clear on how to achieve them. And when they become clear on how to achieve them, we can start to scale. So let's go into the actual muscles themselves. Okay, so let's first look at the fascia lata. The fascia lata is that, as I said, that muscle down the side of our legs. This is very much a large intestine muscle. When we start to massage this muscle and get the energy flowing in there, and sometimes it's more than just massaging, it's really getting that chi flowing. It's what we do really well with kinesiology. It really helps our large intestine move. It helps our bowel movements become more regular. And the things that we hold, the emotions that we hold in there, is 3 particular emotions in that fascia lata, is the grief, depression, and release. Now, this is what it actually means. If you're struggling to scale your business, you may feel regretful and lose your passion and faith in the future. The grief of losing our passion can set in, and the I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy self-talk can start to take over. We need to balance the power in our legs to acquire full momentum to move forward and achieve your goals effortlessly. And this is when we talk about legs, it's talking about moving forward. It's talking about taking that step forward into your future. On the flip side, too much force, too much energy can also throw our balance off. This happens when we have too much power, too much conviction, that you do not orientate from a heart-centered place, but rather from force. And this is where David Hawkins goes into this really well when he talks about power versus force. And we want the power within our energy, the power within our chi. And that power provides flow, it provides momentum, where force is really when we push against something, life pushes back at us, and that's what force is. So when we're pushing at it with force, we're putting too much energy into it. We come from a very hyper-masculine place of doing business, and we end up very much in overwhelm. Many business owners jump into working out their fees and income goals before knowing where they want to go in their business, and definitely before releasing blocks and beliefs around money. And this is a really interesting one. Therapeutic background, we are taught to start at a low level and work our way up. While this can be a method, it's certainly not the only method. And I know many practitioners and many business owners out there that want to offer a premium service from the word go. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But what is important there is to have the right mindset. Can I offer a premium service? Do I feel worthy enough of offering a premium service where a premium price goes in with that as well? So there's no right or wrong here. But what does your inner world say? What does your belief say? And this is where it is really important for us to be honest and truthful with ourselves in what is going on within here. What is going on within our body? What is going on within our mind? What are our beliefs? What are our values? I hear so many entrepreneurial women say, of course I want a big business. Of course I want all the money. But when we really dig deep into it, there is a fear of having too much money. There's a fear of having too much work on, a fear of having a big business. So while there is a part of us that ultimately wants everything that you want, the reason why you don't currently have it is because there's a part of you that doesn't feel safe in having it. There's a part of you that does not want it for whatever reason. And it's really important to deep dive into those reasons and work with ourselves in a really honest way. So with our fascia lata, it is really important that, is your business backed by passion and strategy in balance that feels right for you? And this is the big thing, is how does it feel for you? How does your fees feel for you? How does your strategies feel for you? Are you happy to tell people how much you charge? Do you feel your fees reflect your offer? And this is nothing about, because any fee can reflect any offer. And that's really important to understand. But how do you feel about it? Does your fee reflect your offer for you? Now, let's even have a look at the hamstring here. The hamstring has got to do with income goals, and the emotions that sit behind it is enthusiasm and merciful. So the why is just as important as the figure that you have as your income goal. It needs to be meaningful to you with full rounded energy behind it so you can easily align to it. Now, what does that mean? It means that if you have an income goal, whatever it is, that do you have the energy behind it? And there is no right or wrong way to have the energy behind it, but whatever way works for you. And so what works? It works for you if you have all the reasons what you're going to do with that money when it comes in. But the other thing behind it is you can have that income goal just because you want the goal. And you might not know what you're going to do when it comes in, but you know that's your goal and you go for it. And that's what you believe is true for you, that you don't need a reason behind why you want that goal, besides the fact that you just know you can have it. You know that you can stretch yourself to that point where it just effortlessly comes in. So again, there's no right or wrong way to look at it, but there is a right and wrong way for you to look at it. And that's the most important thing. So work out why do you need to achieve this number and how this impacts your things. Be agile in your approach to business strategy to achieve this goal. Know that parts of your business are thriving and what parts are worth putting more energy, focus and nurturing into. So this is really all about, here we go, let's finish this off before we continue. Be careful not to discard things too quickly. Just because they appear to be working or not on the surface, this is time to take a deeper look into all the small tweaks that could make a difference here. There are so many people, and I've done this in the past myself, that look at something in their business is not working and just go, you know what, it's not working, let's just flick the whole thing. Whereas sometimes when we look a little bit deeper, that it could be just the sales copy page that is not written as effective as what it could. And these things can play a role in whether the whole thing isn't working or not. So it's not that nobody wants your product or nobody wants your services. Maybe you're just not articulating it in the right way for your audience. So be careful to disregard things too quickly here. Sometimes, like, that's when the emotion of enthusiasm comes in. It's like, yep, let's just get rid of it. And sometimes that flip side there is being too hastily. So it's important for you. What income goal do you want? Doesn't matter the why behind it, but it matters the why that you give it behind it. And be careful here not to justify for others a story that you feel works for them, right? Oh, I'm going for a $15,000 month because I want to do X, Y, Z. That feels good for them. Hey, babe, if you want a $15,000 month consistently, just because it feels freaking good to have a $15,000 month, then that's what you can have. And you need to justify that to absolutely anyone. So having your own path and sticking in your own lane is exactly what that is. My story means everything to me, and it might mean absolutely nothing to you. And that is totally okay, because it doesn't need to mean anything to you, because it's my story, it's my journey, it's my life. So let's have a look at that last one here, which is the lumbar, the lower back here. So here we look at clients and fees. The emotions that sit behind here is release and depression. So it's important that your clients are in alignment with you and vice versa, so that the energy flows freely and naturally. Do you love your clients? Are they really who you want to work with? You want to work with clients that you love and who love you in return. Ensure the energy exchange is right, that your fees are set at the right rate, not too high, not too low. Place an appropriate fee for the solution that you're offering your clients. Now, I exaggerate those words for you really importantly, because as I mentioned before, there is no right fee and there's no wrong fee. There's no fee that's too high and there's no fee that's too low. But what's really important is that it's right for you and your clients. So if you want to work with high-end clients, but you're charging $80 an hour, there is a big mismatch there. One, because to them, your fee is not reflecting the value that they see in solving their problem. Right? So you need to make sure that your clients are in alignment with you, and your fees are not only in alignment with you, but also in alignment for your clients as well. Right? So if you have a high-end client and they have a problem that they perceive as a high-end problem, the price needs to reflect that. Whether the same problem for a different client cannot mean as much. So therefore, they're not going to put the same value on solving that problem. So that's important for you to have a look at. Who do you want to work with? Not who needs you, who do you want to work with? Because the reality is there are so many people out there that do what you do in some sort of form. Not exactly what they do, because they're not you, but they do what you do in some form. So there's a lot of us practitioners out there that go, I need to be accessible to everyone because of how I help people solve their problem. Right? And that's simply not true. By talking to everyone, you're actually talking to no one. And if you've learned how to niche in your business, this goes into that. But why that is because people value problem solving, the same problem, differently. So if I have a hobby business compared to someone that's going for their $1 million year, we're going to see business growth extremely differently. So if you're a business coach, the way you solve the problem could be very similar, but the importance your clients put on them is extremely different. And the value they put on it is also going to be very different. It's also important that you really honestly look at what clients you want in your business. Because if you are looking at clients that you can help compared to want to help, you're not going to be aligned to them, and you're going to struggle to get people into your business. You're going to struggle to onboard clients, because ultimately, who do you want to work with? And there is no shame in admitting exactly what it is. If you want to work with single mums, if you want to work with, tradesmen, if you want to work with businessmen, if you want to work with startup entrepreneurial women, there is no wrong or right. And this is where we've got to take out from the equation the external judgment that we put on ourselves. Because in reality, people out there aren't really going to judge us. But it's the judgment we think they're going to have is more potent to us than anything else. So who do you really want to work with? And what fees do you really want to charge? And really bring that in from your heart. And therefore, you will find it so much easier to create that flow in your business. So is your energy exchange with your clients right? Are you giving too much? Or are you not giving enough? And the good way to assess this is, do they show up on time? Do they cancel last minute? If you had an abundant flow of clients, would you still work with all of them that are currently on your list? If you could choose, if you had hundreds of people wanting to work with you right here, right now, who would you say yes to and who would you say no to? Do you prefer clients that come with you on a journey and want to take them on a growth path? Or do you love the clients that just come in and out whenever they need to? The choice is yours. And the more you can honour the inner choices that you really want to work with, things just flow so much more effortlessly. So they're the major three. This book goes into every muscle that we have in our body and what it actually means in conjunction to our business. Some of them are directly business related, just like I've just worked with you today. Some of them are more about how we look after ourselves to look after our business. So there's 5 areas: health, life path, there is business and finance, and the last one is the foundation. So I hope that I've helped you today, and don't forget to share this with anyone that you feel that it'll help them along their journey.